Jeremiah Love is a player that you have to keep an eye out on just because of a running back, his versatility, how good he is in the receiving game this year. We haven't seen a running back potentially crack the top three when you just think about it with the Heisman Trophy back there. Jeremiah Love just dominant. If Notre Dame wins out and they're in the college football playoff, Love should be involved in the conversation.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Starts off on a positive note of getting Lamar Jackson back Thursday night, which was great. He threw for 200 yards, did not look rusty at all. He only rushed for 15, but he didn't really need that. Lamar Jackson also threw for 4 touchdowns, 2 of which going to Mark Andrews. So guess who's back and relative again at the tight end position now that Lamar's back? Oh, wait, it's Mark Andrews. No kidding. I mean, the guy just catches touchdowns. It's Lamar's favorite guy in the red zone.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Fly Pelican, more like grounded Pelican. The Pelicans are 0-6 to start the season. Their main guys aren't their main guys. And it comes to a point where, what do you do if you are Joe Dumars and the leadership of New Orleans?
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Blue Jays are going to be dangerous for years to come because they have money. They're a fun team. Other players like Guerrero, the Blue Jays are a first-class organization. They treat the players very well. They're first-class complex. As I stated earlier, you can live like across the street from the stadium and there's no drama. You don't have to sit in traffic ever. You have an entire country that buys your jerseys and are big fans of yours.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Back at it for hour number 2. So much information to get to. A nice little recap in hour number 2 for the NFL games and also the college football games. And yes, Monday Night Football takes center stage. A massive NFC tilt tonight between the Green Bay Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles. This is the early line. I am Donnie Rightside. He is Joe Ranieri. And we are on the SportsGrid Network. Good time to be here, Joe. Armchair quarterback. I love to play it. I love to rip people. I do.
It was a very interesting slate yesterday in the NFL between the 1 o'clock games, Donnie, and the 4 o'clock games yesterday. And then you mix in whatever that was by Pittsburgh last night. Going to make Week 11 very interesting in the NFL, I believe.
Yeah, my goodness. By the way, like Seahawks 44-22, Rams 42-26, Lions 44-22, and the Chargers were 25-3 by the time we got down to the last final drives. So not a great look for the NFL, but if you're cashing tickets, those might have been Picasso-type games that you had easy winners in. Let's get to the early lineup and the hottest topics, which includes Keenan Allen and his Chargers. Keenan Allen sets the all-time receptions record for the Chargers, while the Chargers absolutely blow out the Pittsburgh Steelers to improve to 7-3 on their season. The Steelers dropped to 5-4, and now only a game back is the Baltimore Ravens after their victory on Sunday. My goodness, Keenan, get that month. By the way, Keenan only had 2 catches there, but still enough for the record.
I mean, it's so funny when you go back over the last couple of decades, right? So Phillip Rivers is the quarterback for 1,000,000 years with the Chargers, and he's throwing passes to Antonio Gates every year. And now you got Herbert there with Keenan Allen, who actually left a couple of years only to come back. And there he goes. I mean, just a great organization when it's come to that one pass catcher and that one quarterback. The Chargers have had that now going on, over 20 years, Donnie?
Have no idea how the Giants lost yesterday, but they did. A double-digit lead in the second half. Game in control. Jackson Dart was 19 of 29 throwing the football for 242 and a passer rating of 91.5. But sure, let's repeatedly call his number so he can run the football on running plays. He ends up with a red zone fumble that turns into a concussion. His day was done. Russell Wilson came in, and they absolutely flatlined. A concussion for Dart, your franchise quarterback. An embarrassing loss to the Chicago Bears. What's next for the Giants?
Yeah, well, I mean, they're going to find a new coach. They're going to find a new GM. I think there's a few things that are going to come. I mean, from what I understand, there was a report, Donnie, that after that meltdown there against Denver, that on the ride home, apparently, ownership was like, he's got to go. Like, you can't do it. And then apparently, I guess they reconsidered that and said, no, let's let it go. And I can't imagine that it's going to be too much longer here for Brian Daboll as the head coach of the New York Giants.
Yeah, let's hear from Brian Daboll. What did Brian Daboll have to say after this game? Can we get to that now? What happened?
Brian, after that, the penalty, for the half-yard line, I guess, you were on 4th and goal at the half. Did you think maybe Jake will go for it?
Yeah, I thought about it. I thought take the points, get a 10-point lead in the 4th. I thought our defense was playing good.
Brian, I mean, is this sustainable, the way that he's playing? I know you don't want to dampen his competitiveness and you love his fire and all that stuff, but, I mean, he's not 250 pounds, and this hits that he's taken, they've clearly taken a toll to the point where now he's got a concussion and is going to miss time.
Look, I'm not sure exactly the play that had happened, Connor, so I'm concerned for the kid.
What do you mean by that?
I don't know the exact play that it happened for him relative to getting hurt or not getting hurt, but I don't know the play. I don't know the play. I don't know when it was. I mean, I just know that when he was going back out there, we were sitting around the huddle. I saw him. I got Ronnie over there to check him out.
Do you feel like you have the answer to get this turnaround?
Yeah, but it hasn't been. So, it was another tough loss.
Why do you feel that way? Why do you so believe that?
I believe in the guys we have, people in the room, coaches and players. But we lost another tough one, Connor. So, you got to start doing it.
By the way, can you make me a spotter in the NFL? Anybody with a brain actually saw that he went down and it was in a fetal position and stayed there because he hit his head on the ground. But somehow they were able to get off the field, and then he was going to come back into the football game. And then you notice, but nobody in the 15 million medical staff members actually thought to even check him at a concussion until he got back into the huddle when he's going to go into the game. And number two, Joe, the one thing that I don't agree with here, in the new age of the NFL, 4th and goal from the 1. They didn't want to go for the kick the field goal. A penalty, which meant 4th and goal from the 6-inch yard line, which you punch that in, you win. If you don't, the other team starts on the half of a yard line, Joe. Unbelievable. This imbecile head coach.
And if some reason he thought the defense was going to hold up, I just have no idea what he's talking about. That is now 4 road losses this year in which the Giants had a 10 or more point lead in which they have lost here. They have now lost 11 in a row on the road and are 3-19 going back to last season. There's no way he is keeping his job in New York. It's just not happening.
No, it's not. You know what else isn't happening in New York? The New York Jets. The Jets won yesterday. And I got to tell you, all week long I kept telling you, boy, I want the Jets. I like the Jets at +3. They did win, and they did cover, and they won outright. But the handicap was completely wrong. I didn't know you get 15, returns on special teams. But if I had a quarterback that threw 11 times for 54 yards with a QBR of 15.9, Breece Hall, he had 83 yards, but ran 21 times. My leading wide receiver was my running back. Everybody else, Joe, no other wide receiver caught more than 4 yards of passing, and they won. What more do I have to look at from the Jets to understand? And it's not a game I'm playing. Make Justin Fields a tight end. He will be one of the better tight ends in the NFL. Move on. Start the restructuring now. You can't keep running Fields out there. You can't do it.
It's hilarious. Well, I'll tell you what, though. Chris Banjo, the special teams coordinator for the Jets, probably just got himself a new contract.
Yeah.
Because that unit there racked up touchdowns on kick returns, punt returns, and they were downing balls inside the 5-yard line. The special teams literally won the Jets again. Not the offense. Defense was good, but it was the special teams that won the Jets a game yesterday. Unbelievable.
Jets traded their best defensive players away and came away with a victory where their quarterback absolutely stunk. It doesn't make any sense. It's just the NFL on a Sunday here. I'll tell you what does make some sense. Kawhi Leonard stealing paycheck after paycheck after paycheck after paycheck from the NBA and the Clippers.
Yeah, and of course probably won't be available for a while here. But listen, this is all par for the course with Kawhi. We know this. He's going to miss close to 40%, 50% of the games in the regular season. And then you can only hope he's going to be available long enough in the postseason to utilize him, though. So, but they know what they paid for. Steve Ballmer and the Clippers, you knew what you were getting yourself into. And, well, congratulations. We'll see how long it lasts.
Detroit Pistons pick up another win in Philadelphia last night in a close one here to knock off the Sixers and actually get their 8th victory of the season. 6 straight victories. Pistons basketball.
Yeah, can't go wrong. I mean, they are playing really good basketball. They were a little shorthanded, too, no less here. But they were able to get it done. But they did not cover, Donnie. We should point that out. Sixers got the cover, may not have gotten the win, but Maxey is absolutely unstoppable right now.
He's a good one. Lenny Wilkens, one of the best coaches in the NBA. And by the way, he coached for a long time. He was coaching back in the days where you could wear those fly suits in the 70s, man, and all those color arrangements on the sideline. Lenny Wilkens passes away here. Tough scene for the NBA.
Yeah. I mean, was there with the Supersonics, right? Yep. And Cavs for a long time, the Hawks. Even the Knicks, I think he stepped in there in 2004, 2005. He was one of the truly greats, icons in the NBA for sure.
How about the betting scandal we just talked about in Major League Baseball? Ridiculous that it's come down to this. And also, Cleveland, what are you doing, man? Who else is involved in this, Joe? We'll never know, but we know Clase could be doing prison time along with Ortiz. Hopefully they clean that up sooner than later in Major League Baseball. Let's get to more hot topics in play. Armchair quarterback from NFL Sunday Action.
Jeremiah Love is a player that you have to keep an eye out on just because of a running back, his versatility, how good he is in the receiving game this year. We haven't seen a running back potentially crack the top 3 when you just think about it with the Heisman Trophy back there. Jeremiah Love just dominant. If Notre Dame wins out and they're in the college football playoff, Love should be involved in the conversation.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Starts off on a positive note of getting Lamar Jackson back Thursday night, which was great. He threw for 200 yards, did not look rusty at all. He only rushed for 15, but he didn't really need that. Lamar Jackson also threw for 4 touchdowns, 2 of which going to Mark Andrews. So guess who's back and relative again at the tight end position now that Lamar's back? Oh, wait, it's Mark Andrews. No kidding. I mean, the guy just catches touchdowns. It's Lamar's favorite guy in the red zone.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Fly, Pelican, more like grounded Pelican. The Pelicans are 0-6 to start the season. Their main guys aren't their main guys. And it comes to a point where, what do you do if you are Joe Dumars and the leadership of New Orleans?
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Blue Jays are going to be dangerous for years to come because they have money. They're a fun team. Other players like Guerrero, the Blue Jays are a first-class organization. They treat the players very well. They're first-class complex. As I stated earlier, you can live like across the street from the stadium and there's no drama. You don't have to sit in traffic ever. You have an entire country that buys your jerseys and are big fans of yours.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Armchair quarterback live and direct from Berlin, Germany. Yes, another international game for the NFL yesterday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern kickoff, which saw the Indianapolis Colts take on the Atlanta Falcons. The victor at the end of the game, it was the Indianapolis Colts, and they needed a comeback effort in the fourth quarter into overtime to get it done, but it was all Jonathan Taylor, 32 carries, 244 yards, and 3 touchdowns, which included the winner in overtime as he danced in the end zone, juked a couple players out, and jetted in to do his strut. Impressive performance here for the Colts, not necessarily on the football field, but impressive in the fact that they are 8-2 now in the AFC. they're rolling right now. How about that, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, for those that got -6 on the Colts, which is where I think it closed, you got yourself a push. But I would be extremely bent out of shape given the fact that the Falcons gave up 519 yards of offense to the Colts, and they only gained 290 yards. So based upon those numbers there, Donnie, the Colts should have won by double digits easily in this game, but they allowed Atlanta to hang around, and they were fortunate enough to get it to overtime and let Jonathan Taylor do the rest.
Bloodied up. Daniel Jones was 19 of 26 for 255, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. I needed him yesterday, Joe, to throw 2. He threw 1 in the first quarter and never had a chance to do it again. But I got a question. Michael Penix, man, 12 of 28, $177. He did throw the touchdown, no interceptions. But it's Drake London and nobody else. Like Kyle Pitts, we've been through this before. He had 2 catches for 38 yards, dropped a massive ball that hit him basically right in the face. That probably would have been a 50-yard play earlier in that game. They have nothing outside of Drake London and Bijan Robinson. You need more there, and I would keep calling it. Like Raheem Morris, 3-6 on the season. It's just not working out. You need to change the culture of that franchise here, and it starts with the head coach at that point. Moving on, Joe. Patriots, 28, Buccaneers, 23. This was a game for me. I was like a referendum. The Patriots really for real? Show me you're for real. Beat the Buccaneers in their own building when the Buccaneers are coming off a bye. And they did that, man. They were working it yesterday. Drake May, the running game, everything was going right for the New England Patriots.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that was a big test, right? Big litmus test. And we wanted to see what we were going to get. I mean, Drake May was good. He wasn't great. He was, he was serviceable to the point where it gave his team a chance to win against a pretty good defense there. And Todd Bowles and that defense of Tampa Bay usually gives these young quarterbacks fits. So it is a good team win for New England. But we're going to see here in a very crowded AFC just how good this New England team is.
Practice what you preach. That's what we're talking about with Baker Mayfield now after the game.
That's what I told the team, told the offense after the game. And at some point, when the stuff comes up during the week and whether it's mistakes or things we talk about, and then it shows up on Sundays, you have to have some pride about you. You got to have the fear of that failure, of messing up for your teammates when we talk about something. That you got to have that responsibility and accountability for the guys around you and get it fixed. In tight ball games like this, when you play a good team like the Patriots, little things will get you beat, and that was the case for us on offense today. And case in point, I mean, it starts with me. Some throws there that we like to have back, some more completions. The low ball that I gave Cade towards the end there, if I would have stuck it on his chest, he probably would have gotten a first down instead of having to get into a short yardage situation. So it starts with me, but everybody's got to have pride about it too.
I do love NFL players. Just dress horribly bad with stupid hats on, and you make millions of dollars. If I made millions of dollars, Joe, maybe I'd dress stupidly as well.
I agree. But I mean, I don't know how do you let Trayvon Henderson rush for almost 150 yards? I mean, that's, how about you stop the running game there, Tampa, and maybe you would have had a shot of actually pulling off the win there.
Joe, Friday, we were previewing games for this weekend. I told you, I like the Jets. I'm taking some ugly teams. I like the Jets. They won. They were ugly. I have no idea how the Jets won, but they did. I also told you I like the Houston Texans in that game against the Jaguars. They were getting absolutely destroyed, down 19 in the fourth quarter, only to see 26 unanswered points for the Houston Texans and Davis Mills to come back and beat Jacksonville. You've got to be kidding me. At the end of that game, I saw Liam Cohen at that touchdown, throw his play sheet out of the way. Jacksonville, you can't lose that game. Now, I like picking up the victory there, but my goodness, that is a terrible loss.
No, that's beyond terrible, and maybe one of the worst beats of the NFL season, one of the worst bad beats ever, because don't forget, I mean, Houston opened up as a 1.5-point favorite in that game, and eventually Jacksonville closed as the slight favorite, but that empty netter, the Sheldon Rankings running that ball back into the touchdown there as time expired. Oh, even if you got the best of the number, Donnie, you still lost that game. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's crazy the way that played out. And again, just sometimes betting sides. It's almost like the equivalent of like you have the 5-1 lead and your bullpen just explodes. Like, man, why didn't I just take like a first 5 innings or something different? Like the Jaguars were so much better all throughout that game. Where I had a Davis Mills prop, Joe, which is over 209.5 passing yards. I said, I like the matchup. They'll be in it. It's not a lot of yards. And I was worried like he would actually get benched in the fourth quarter because they were getting beat so badly. He ended up throwing for 292 and 2 touchdowns, including, and like, we're not talking about Lamar Jackson. The dude ran like a 15-yard touchdown for the game-clinching play. And then I was looking at saying, are we going to get like a 75-yard field goal from Cam Little? Like it was a 1-point game. Like, they're going to get an opportunity. And Trevor Lawrence was just taking sacks out there and couldn't even get the opportunity to get them into field goal range.
Yeah, it was so embarrassing, Don, on so many different levels. But, kudos to the Texans who could have traded Davis Mills last offseason. A lot of teams were calling about him, but they opted to keep him. And I think you saw why they opted to keep him here. I mean, listen, C.J. Stroud, I'm not sure he does that in that game yesterday there in the fourth quarter. So kudos to Davis Mills.
I mean, you weren't even looking at like Jacksonville playing all that well at that point, right? Like Trevor Lawrence went through 23 times, $158, a touchdown, and an interception, a pass rating of 74.2. ETN 16 for 58, which is okay. They only ran for 3.5 yards per carry as a team. The pass receivers, thank goodness they got Jacoby Myers in the building. He had 41 yards. Everybody else underwhelming there. I understand you're banged up at some positions here, but a 29-10 lead over the dead-in-the-water Texans to lose that game, that's a season ender as it feels like right now. It is what it is, but they are in the AFC, Joe. The Chiefs. Am I saying this correct? The Chiefs still to win the AFC? I would say, okay, it's plus 290. I was thinking of plus 190 at this point. You got to be kidding me, man. Are we still, the Chiefs really still, Joe?
Who else, Donnie, with what we've just seen from the Bills and the Colts and why not?
Let's get to those Kalshi markets next. Let's go.
Jeremiah Love is a player that you have to keep an eye out on just because of a running back, his versatility, how good he is in the receiving game this year. We haven't seen a running back potentially crack the top 3 when you just think about it with the Heisman Trophy back there. Jeremiah Love just dominant. If Notre Dame wins out and they're in the college football playoff, Love should be involved in the conversation.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Starts off on a positive note of getting Lamar Jackson back Thursday night, which was great. He threw for 200 yards, did not look rusty at all. He only rushed for 15, but he didn't really need that. Lamar Jackson also threw for 4 touchdowns, 2 of which going to Mark Andrews. So guess who's back and relative again at the tight end position now that Lamar's back? Oh, wait, it's Mark Andrews. No kidding. I mean, the guy just catches touchdowns. It's Lamar's favorite guy in the red zone.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Fly, Pelican, more like grounded Pelican. The Pelicans are 0-6 to start the season. Their main guys aren't their main guys. And it comes to a point where, what do you do if you are Joe Dumars and the leadership of New Orleans?
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Blue Jays are going to be dangerous for years to come because they have money. They're a fun team. Other players like Guerrero, the Blue Jays are a first-class organization. They treat the players very well. They're first-class complex. As I stated earlier, you can live like across the street from the stadium and there's no drama. You don't have to sit in traffic ever. You have an entire country that buys your jerseys and are big fans of yours.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Who will be the next pro football coach out? That's a question that's up on Kalshi currently right now that you can bet on. And no surprise after yesterday's games, the leader in the clubhouse for that is Brian Dable. You know who's charging up quickly, though, in second place? It's actually Raheem Morris, listed at 13%. Jonathan Gadden, you see on the screen there. But here's a question I have for you, Joe. Brian Dable's up to 46% right now, which means if you place a $100 wager that he's the first football coach out, you return 193, which means a 93% increase on your money. Understand this, Joe. If I look at the rule summary, here's what doesn't make sense to me. Like if Dable gets fired today, which is an opportunity, or Dable gets fired on Tuesday, which is the day off in the NFL, that makes a lot of sense. But the rule summary for Brian Dable says if the head coach of the New York Giants leaves or announces they will leave before any other head coach after 3 p.m. October 13th, today is the 10th. And before February 28, 2026, then the market resolves till yes. So if Dable gets fired today, tomorrow, or Wednesday, that doesn't count? That doesn't make sense.
No, that doesn't. But, I mean, have the Giants had a bye yet? I think they because if they haven't, then you may want to consider what date that bye is at, because that could be when it all she wrote. But I also happen to think, Donnie, that all of those guys at some point, just bet yes to them all, because at some point one of those guys is getting absolutely, to me, I think Raheem Morris obviously cut ties now. Yes. It's just not working. But, you know, it's also, Donnie, a lot of situations like this in the NFL, the first guys to go are usually the coordinators. They'll scapegoat the coordinators. Zach Robinson in Atlanta, he'll probably be fired before Raheem Morris does, and so on and so forth. So I think Dable's the easy one. But, man, if the Giants haven't done it now, what's the point then, Donnie? Why change it?
Yeah. I've been saying for weeks it should be Raheem Morris, but you take a look here, $100 on Raheem Morris to get fired first. That's a plus 770 payout on the back end there for you that you can put it in your pocket. But it's a fun market here. We don't know when these guys will get fired, but you always have to read the fine print, as we like to say. All right, next up here for us, Joe, the Eastern Conference Finals winner in hockey, the Carolina Panthers, the Florida Panthers, the Tampa Bay Lightning. Favorite in the clubhouse right now is the Carolina Panthers. And I don't know who would be betting on that now, but people are betting on hockey this early, Joe.
Well, I mean, it's buy low on the Panthers, let's face it, because they've been banged up, Donnie, and they are and will get some reinforcements with Tkachuk and others getting back here by the end of the year. So, yeah, buy low on those teams, because that's just making the playoffs, Donnie, or winning the conference, the Eastern Conference. Because if that's the case, yeah, I would at 20 cents. I would take a shot with the, two-time, possibly three-time defending champs.
Let's get some soccer information in here, Joe. On Kalshi, will Lionel Messi announce his retirement before 2026? If you bet yes for $100, that pays back $1,112. The rule summary: if Lionel Messi announces their retirement there, I suppose he's multiple guys, before January 21st, 2026, then the market will resolve to yes. Ain't no way. That's going to play for like another 10 years.
I know Miami just gave him a boatload of money, and that's the other problem. He's just got so much money here. If he stays healthy, he'll play, but unless something dramatic happens, I don't see him leaving that money on the table.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't want to tie up a lot of funds, because if you hit no, it's at 96 cents, which means a $100 pay would come back to you at $205, which means a $5 profit total that will come back in your pocket at that. Or excuse me, $105, I should say, a $5 profit that maybe does sway or sway not. Probably some other avenues that you can have here, Joe. So the Kalshi markets, have you been participating in any of these Kalshi markets lately, Joe?
Yes, we've talked about it. I will not make a future bet in any way, shape, or form in a sportsbook anymore. It is strictly on the Kalshi market there, because I love the flexibility, Donnie, of being able to get in. Yeah. And then once that line starts moving in my favor, I have the opportunity to get out, and I don't have to wait until the outcome of the game. So I love that in the future markets.
Yeah, we take a look at some of the awards markets right now, and if you found out, like you're looking at FanDuel, like the NFL regular season MVP, Drake May is up there, plus 300. Matthew Stafford at plus 300, which means, let's just say you took Stafford, Joe, at $300. You place a $100 wager there. That plays back $300. If you go over to Kalshi, and you put a $100 wager in, that would pay back $385 here, and you can get out at any time that you want at that point here. So fun, different ways to bet markets, different marketplaces from FanDuel to DraftKings over to Kalshi. The new wave of sports investing here, just like a stock market at that point, right? More information coming up next. Let's hit what happened on college football Saturday. Movers and shakers division.
We now have to figure out if they will be in the playoffs. They're the Super Bowl favorite and have shorter odds to miss the postseason as you and I sit here right now.
Right, but let me ask you this. Do you feel after this 5-4 record, 9 weeks, 10 weeks of the regular season, that their defense is as dominant as it was last year?
But the offense is better.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Fly, Pelican, more like grounded Pelican. The Pelicans are 0-6 to start the season. Their main guys aren't their main guys. And it comes to a point where, what do you do if you are Joe Dumars and the leadership of New Orleans?
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You want to throw $12, $13 million at Kiffin? That's always a possibility. Summerall, they lost the other night to, in that matchup to UTSA. Or do you go back to potentially the mad scientist and Nick Saban, give him, complete control of the athletic department and see if he can turn it around? We'll see. But whatever they go, they're going to need a coach to hit the ground running.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
His daughter, she's on the OF.
Okay.
She's on the OF.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, she's on the OF.
So he's got
now.
an OnlyFans daughter and a little son
who says he can beat Curry and LeBron.
And he's coaching a team that was down 72 to nothing.
Keep that dude away from polite society.
Okay, by the way, I'm with you. I didn't know any of that is
Numerous pops gotta go.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Oh, what a weekend it was in college football. You did have some upsets out there. You had some teams taking care of business, also fighting off those upsets. We're looking at you, Indiana, taking on Penn State as a heavy favorite in that game. Needed an unbelievable catch late in that game on a third down to secure that victory here. If you look at the AP Top 25 poll, fresh off the press, the Ohio State University stays at number 1 overall. Indiana stays at 2, even though A&M had an impressive win over a ranked team in the SEC on the road. Alabama 4, Georgia 5, Ole Miss 6, Oregon 7, Texas Tech 8, big win over BYU, Notre Dame 9, and Texas at number 10. Who would have thought Texas would be fighting back now in prime position to hold a playoff spot here, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, listen, the entire top 5, right, unchanged because you had, A&M, Alabama, Georgia, all won by double digits. Even the Texas A&M Aggies, though, receiving a couple, 4 first-place votes there. Ole Miss hops over Oregon as, Oregon by the hair on their chinny chin to be able to beat Iowa, which is never an easy place to play, by the way. They got it done. But maybe the most impressive to me was the dismantling by Texas Tech over a pretty decent BYU team. So, we're Big 12 only going to get one team, but that is a pretty dangerous team right now, Texas Tech. That defense is legit.
Legit and high-paid defense. They broke the salary cap on that Texas Tech team this year. 29-7 victory over BYU. Dickey had 121 yards on the ground and 1 touchdown. By the way, this is one of those games we talked about on College Football Today, Joe. This game had steam on Saturday morning. People couldn't get enough of Texas Tech, and a team going up against a ranked opponent that's ranked ahead of them and also undefeated. Didn't matter here. 29-7 final. Texas Tech man, they could do some damage. They're probably going to win the Big 12, which means automatically getting into the college football playoff. And their only loss was, I believe, when Bear Morton was out. Is that correct for Texas Tech?
Yep.
So
That's
living
correct.
life right now for Texas Tech. Yeah.
Yeah, Arizona State with Hammond at quarterback, and then he ends up getting hurt, and Morton is back. But it's that defense, Donnie, that I think is legit. And you're right; they paid an awful lot of money, NIL money, to put that team together, and they showed you what they're all about. There, they shut down a BYU offense that had no problem putting up points against anybody they played. Not in that game.
Texas A&M stays unbeaten by knocking off Missouri here. The better football team, the better offense all the way around. I understand that Missouri was struggling there without their starting quarterback, but that's a great win, 38-17. And understand this, I guess if they just beat South Carolina next week, Texas A&M, they're automatically in the college football playoff because they're going to beat Stanford. Even if they lose to Texas and don't even get to play in the SEC championship game, if that's possible, they will still be headed to the college football playoff. A great season for Mike Elko and Texas A&M continues.
Yeah, I mean, outstanding stuff there. I mean, Missouri, though, third-string quarterback, it kind of tough in that spot there. But Texas A&M showing you that, yeah, they got it on both sides. Pretty good defense, really good offense. Reed is playing at a Heisman level right now, so yeah, keep an eye. I think it's gonna be a big battle, Donnie, of how many Big Ten versus how many SEC teams get into the college football playoff. That's what we're going to be talking about here over the next couple of weeks.
How about LSU trying to at least get to the Pop-Tarts Bowl this year, Joe? 5-4 now overall after dropping a double-digit loss to the Alabama Crimson Tide. 20-9 lower scoring game. That line was set at 10 and 10.5 all week long. Congratulations if you got the cover and back to Alabama. They pick up a win there. Not all that impressive, but they didn't need to be, Joe.
No, they didn't. They took care of business. I mean, it's always a very risky game there, certainly for Alabama, because you knew that was kind of going to be the Super Bowl, the big national championship game for LSU. You always got that, fired coach bump here. What are we going to get? Well, as usual, the story of the year is we didn't get enough offense from LSU, and guess what? We didn't get enough offense again for LSU in that game.
Indiana knocks off Penn State 27-24, drops Penn State to 0-6 in the Big Ten, but they had a legitimate chance to win this football game. They were down, had stormed back to take the lead in the fourth quarter, only have a great drive to end it. Mendoza gets an unbelievable toe tap on the back of the end zone to Omar Cooper Jr. They survive in Penn State 27-24.
Survived is the right term there, Donnie, because that's exactly what they did. In many aspects, they should have lost that game, and it was a tale of two halves. They were great in the first half, and boy, oh boy, give Penn State credit, though. They hung around. I mean, they came out and smacked Indiana back at home there in the second half, but ultimately, your best players have to make big plays at the biggest moment, and that is exactly what Mendoza did in that final drive to win it for Indiana.
Thought maybe Louisville would be in that driver's seat to win the ACC. Cal comes east and knocks them off in overtime, 29-26. Cal goes to 6-4. Louisville only had one loss on the season, drops to 7-2 on the season, and 4-2 now in the ACC.
Yeah, they're gonna kick themselves here in this one here. They really are. But the ACC is so terrible, Donnie, that Louisville, even with that ridiculous loss, they still have an opportunity over the next couple of weeks to land in a championship game and still make it to the postseason.
Love to see that. And by the way, let's take a look at the college football playoff projections here for the 12-team bracket as it sits right now. I get angry and I get upset, Joe, because I know we can have a perfect 12 in there. And yes, you're going to have blowouts, but Memphis facing Georgia, stop. Memphis should not be in there. Let's not give free buys to the Little Sisters of the Poor conferences in here. Then you slide it down. Oregon, Texas Tech, fantastic, Joe. Absolutely love it. Virginia, get them the hell out of there. Come on now. No team in the ACC should be even in this. Ole Miss should be playing somebody else. Notre Dame and BYU, get BYU the hell out of there. Joe, if you make me commissioner, we take two teams. We take probably, all right, we'll go three. We'll go Oregon, we'll go Ohio State, and we'll also go Indiana out of the Big Ten. Then we just load up the SEC and we watch. We have record-breaking ratings and really good football. Why do we have to play this game of everybody needs a seat at the table as if there's 68-plus teams like in March Madness? Memphis should not be in there, I'm sorry. Neither should Virginia, and neither should BYU. Stop the madness.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the reality is that your conference champions are going to get a seat at the table. They're not going to get a higher seed. Depends on basically how they're ranked. And you're always going to have that, that group of five. Somebody's going to have to represent it. So if Memphis is the best you got, I can make an argument they are not. But if that's the case, great. But I'm telling you, Donnie, coming up, I mean, you've got... Yeah. Texas is got to take on go to Georgia, and then Oklahoma's got to go to Alabama. Texas still has to play A&M. There's a lot to be determined here over the next 3 weeks. That's for sure.
Yeah, by the way, this is from last week, so I guess they'll be updated. When's the college football playoff show? Tomorrow night, I assume it would be at that point. Night. So we'll be able to find out exactly what it is. But get some of these bums out of here at this point. But also, sometimes we have to sacrifice that first round here. But if we're looking at like the second round as it was set up to a week ago, Joe, Georgia would play Alabama. Fantastic. Let's just say Texas Tech takes on Ohio State. Fantastic. Ole Miss A&M. Fantastic. Notre Dame, Indiana, a replay of last year's game, which you really got pummeled by Notre Dame in the college football playoff. That is fantastic. But I just would like to see the perfect scenario. And we never get it because why? The College Football Committee is a bunch of imbeciles out here, and I have no idea how we just say, hey, you got to save one for the group of five. Why do we do that? There's no reason to do that. Put it in a computer, Joe. Spit out the best 12 teams in the country and give it to me that way.
Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting because there is some talk that maybe they start limiting the amount of teams the SEC and the Big Ten can have in the post. That's what they're talking about.
Stop it.
That's what they're talking about. Yep. Inclusion, Donnie, inclusion.
That's not what that's not what I needed to hear. But also understand this. We still have a few weeks left to play. Things will be decided. And they're always like, Joe, sometimes I get angry at the wrong things. The really good football teams will be in no matter what. But still, we're always going to have that debate, whether it was like, hey, top 4 teams. Oh, you left out 5 and 6. Top 8. Oh, you left out 9 and 10. Top 12. Oh, you left out 13 and 14. Top 24 getting the playoffs. What about 25, 26, and 27? It's not going to matter when it comes down to it because the big boys will compete and the big boys will end up winning these. But it's just fun to talk about saying, like, why is Memphis even including in the conversation? It's because the committee is stupid. That's the only explanation that we get. We're rolling along. Let's get back to the NFL. What happened yesterday?
We now have to figure out if they will be in the playoffs. They're the Super Bowl favorite and have shorter odds to miss the postseason as you and I sit here right now.
Right, but let me ask you this. Do you feel after this 5-4 record, 9 weeks, 10 weeks of the regular season, that their defense is as dominant as it was last year?
But the offense is better.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Fly, Pelican, more like grounded Pelican. The Pelicans are 0-6 to start the season. Their main guys aren't their main guys. And it comes to a point where, what do you do if you are Joe Dumars and the leadership of New Orleans?
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You want to throw $12, $13 million at Kiffin? That's always a possibility. Summerall, they lost the other night to, in that matchup to UTSA. Or do you go back to potentially the mad scientist and Nick Saban, give him, complete control of the athletic department and see if he can turn it around? We'll see. But whatever they go, they're going to need a coach to hit the ground running.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
His daughter, she's on the OF.
Okay.
She's on the OF now.
Is that right?
Yeah, she's on the OF now.
So he's got an OnlyFans daughter and a little son
who says he can beat Curry and LeBron.
And he's coaching a team that was down 72-0.
Keep that dude away from polite society.
Okay, brother, I'm with you. I didn't know any of that is.
Numerous pops gotta go.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
It's amazing when things can happen to an NFL franchise when your entire defense just about gets back healthy and your all-world MVP quarterback's like, you know what, I feel good enough to play football. That means back-to-back wins for the Baltimore Ravens as they now sit 4-5 after going on the road and knocking off the Minnesota Vikings 27-19. Lamar Jackson wasn't astounding yesterday. 17 of 29, $176 and a touchdown pass. Also on the ground, 9 carries for 36 yards. Derrick Henry didn't do all that much. 20 carries, 75 yards, didn't even ski his touchdown because Justin Hill vultured out on the goal line. But the Baltimore Ravens getting back into form and trying to chase down the Pittsburgh Steelers with that win.
Yeah, and it's a big win, too, because now they've won, 3 straight? And their next 5 games, Donnie, I believe, are against all teams that are under 500. I think the only team that has a winning record that they'll see will be the Steelers, who, by the way, after last night's loss, have now lost 3 of their last 4 after opening the season 4-1. So I mentioned it last week, Donnie. I thought the number was a little high. I wasn't buying some sort of wild shootout. Both of those teams, Minnesota and Baltimore, have been dead over teams all year, but it didn't feel like, all the issues were solved there with Lamar and that offense against Miami. And the Minnesota defense did enough there to keep that thing up and under the total. That's for sure.
By the way, saw a lot of things coming down the pipeline. The Detroit Lions last week embarrassed here. Dan Campbell taking back play calling duties here. What does that mean? 44 points on the road for the Detroit Lions over the Washington Commanders, the flailing Washington Commanders. Everything worked. Jared Goff back to normal. 25 of 33, 320 in the air, and 3 touchdowns. Jahmyr Gibbs, 15 carries, $142, and 2 touchdowns on the ground. David Montgomery, 15 carries, 71 yards. Flip it over to the wideouts, which are led by Jamison Williams, 6 for 119 and a touchdown. Man, that offense was cooking yesterday against a cooked Commanders team.
Yeah, and you got to, again, congratulations. You beat a Washington defense that everybody drops 40 points on, by the way. But you got to wonder what's going on there. Why is Dan Campbell all of a sudden in Week 10 taking over play calling duties here? So that is worth keeping an eye out. I think that's the idea that, Detroit plays games like that yesterday, Donnie, against terrible defenses, and everybody thinks everything is back to normal with Detroit's offense. Be very careful with them moving forward.
Lions versus the Eagles next Sunday night from Philadelphia. Game to keep an eye on. I'll tell you what I was shocked at yesterday, Joe. Looking up the scoreboard, 16-0 Miami. Oh, bad start for the Bills. No, not a bad start. Nothing in the first quarter, nothing in the second quarter, nothing in the third quarter for the Buffalo Bills until late in the fourth quarter. 30-13 victory for the Miami Dolphins, which saw Tua throw 2 touchdowns and also 2 interceptions. But Devon Achane, my goodness, Joe, 22 carries, $174, 2 touchdowns. Then you take a look at his receiving, 6 catches, 51 yards there. He was sensational. The offense was cruising, and they put it on the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, and the Buffalo Bills did themselves no favors. I mean, a week after looking invincible against their arch rival here, the Kansas City Chiefs, they laid one of the biggest eggs that you will see against one of the worst franchises in the NFL right now. I mean, Tua outplayed Josh Allen, and the Bills, by the way, and of course, Donnie, this plays something into it. The Bills exhaled after that win against Kansas City. And since Miami, I think, had only beaten them once over the last, 10 years, Buffalo has owned Miami, and Buffalo thought they were just going to show up and win that game. But guess what? Yeah, it didn't work out that way. So keep an eye on it. Injuries also piling up for Buffalo.
Don't turn the football over. Here's Josh Allen talking about that after the game.
They came ready to play. They wanted it, obviously, a little more than us. I got to be better. I'd be better in the protection game, in the pass game, in the run game, all of it. It's anytime you turn it over 3 times, 2 in the red zone, and really you could count that last one, driving, kind of going into the red zone. So that's a recipe for disaster.
You can't turn, Joe. Rule number 1, don't turn the football over, keep your team in the game. But it was still, again, the Miami Dolphins, this isn't the 2000 Baltimore Ravens. They shut us out 3 quarters. This was the Dolphins defense coming up big time and time again, which also shows you they're still playing. That locker room is still fighting here. Despite trading guys away, they're still fighting for their head coach here. We'll see if that turns on. But also, They're 3-7. You have to understand this. Like, is this like, hey, well, Tua got it all fixed, Joe. Hey, maybe McDaniel is our guy for the future. What do you think about the Dolphins right now after that victory?
What happens now, right? Did he buy himself? Yeah. I mean, they're just all sorts of full of surprises, right? So they fired the GM, but they keep McDaniel, and what happens? The team, and then they fire. They trade away their best defensive player in Jalen Phillips there, and what happens? Oh boy, they looked absolutely outstanding. So I don't know. I don't know what it means, but something tells me one way or the other, McDaniel is probably out. Because any GM that they bring in there is going to want to hire his own guy. We all know this.
Joe, help me out on this scenario, because sometimes we still look at football teams and don't understand how good they possibly could be or they aren't. Is it fool's gold or not? It's the Seahawks. They're cruising right now, winning against, 4 straight victory yesterday, absolutely hammered the Cardinals. They could have hung 88 points on the Cardinals yesterday. But look at the wins on the season. Steelers, Saints, Cardinals, Jaguars, Texans, Commanders, Cardinals again. Are we having fool's gold or no? Like, you're believing in this football team is really as good as what their record actually says.
Listen, and the Rams are top 5 pretty much offensively and defensively right now. They're one of the few teams that can say that. I mean, the Seahawks and the Rams could be the 2 best teams in the NFC. I mean, no offense to the Eagles here, but my goodness, have they been consistently good? That defense of Seattle is no joke here. But the problem is, even with that big lead, 14 of those points came from defensive scores, a scoop and score, and a pick 6 yesterday in that game. But Sam Darnold interception, Sam Darnold fumble. I mean, it's, that the big difference is Stafford versus Sam Darnold. Who you got, Donnie?
I mean, look, the Rams look like world beaters right now. They do, but so does Seattle. Ooh. You know what, Joe? They both play next week at 4:05 Eastern. We'll see if that happens. I cannot wait to watch that play out at this point right now. JSN, superstar there, by the way, for Seattle. Did you know his number, Joe, was 750 on the season to go over/under? Wow. Dude did 1,000, man. He's killing everybody out there in the marketplace. Let's get another good segment next right here on the Early Line.
We now have to figure out if they will be in the playoffs. They're the Super Bowl favorite and have shorter odds to miss the postseason as you and I sit here right now.
Right, but let me ask you this. Do you feel after this 5-4 record, 9 weeks, 10 weeks of the regular season, that their defense is as dominant as it was last year?
But the offense is better.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Fly, Pelican, more like grounded Pelican. The Pelicans are 0-6 to start the season. Their main guys aren't their main guys. And it comes to a point where, what do you do if you are Joe Dumars and the leadership of New Orleans?
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You want to throw $12, $13 million at Kiffin? That's always a possibility. Summerall, they lost the other night to, in that matchup to UTSA. Or do you go back to potentially the mad scientist and Nick Saban, give him, complete control of the athletic department and see if he can turn it around? We'll see. But whatever they go, they're going to need a coach to hit the ground running.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
His daughter, she's on the OF.
Okay.
She's on the OF
is
now.
That right?
Yeah, she's on the OF now.
So he's got an OnlyFans daughter and a little son
who says he can beat Curry and LeBron.
And he's coaching a team that was down 72
Keep that dude away from polite society.
Okay, by the way, I'm with you. I didn't know any of that is.
Numerous pops gotta go.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Monday Night Football on deck. We also have a pretty good slate tonight in the NBA and the association. But again, nobody cares about the NBA until we get to Christmas Day. And then even Christmas Day was stolen away from the NBA by the NFL. So maybe you have to wait till the first of the year, which is then a lot of playoff games and bowl games. So maybe you have to wait till the second of the year for everybody to start to pay attention to the NBA. But don't worry. Everybody's getting injured in the NBA and taking games off early. You are not missing anything. But this is the time and the part of the show, Joe. After we talk all show, we want to hear from the people. Here's our Fade the Public poll. I can guarantee you one thing, Joe. Sometimes it's not who's going to win the game, who's going to cover a prop bet to get through there. But when I tell you I'm going to be awake for the entirety of this football game tonight, because my Philadelphia Eagles are playing on Monday Night Football against the Green Bay Packers. Now, we always ask questions every single day, weekdays, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, right here from our SportsGrid account on X at SportsGrid. Give it a follow. The question asked this morning does deal with Monday Night Football. What are you betting tonight in Eagles versus Packers on Monday Night Football? 4 choices, over, under, Eagles, or Packers. The leader in the clubhouse, Joe, just like the public and the amount of tickets here rolling in on the Eagles. Right now, live, 46% of the vote as the best bet tonight from the public, the Eagles plus 1.5.
Yeah, it's and it makes sense. We saw this line move, right, Donnie, from the 2.5 to 2 to 1.5 to 1 now. So it's a little scary knowing that the public is all over Philadelphia, especially after one of that. I mean, the worst loss that I can remember in Packer lore in a very, very long time here against that Carolina game at home last week was just a game in which they didn't punt, Donnie, lose their best weapon, the best tight end in the NFL, and lose the game. Just absolutely disgusting. So is it a bounce back spot? But it appears the public and everyone else, Donnie, they're all on the Eagles here tonight. That's scary.
And how about this? The over-under differentiation, Joe, 14% on the over and 19% on the under. We'll see what the public has to do tonight if they come up big winners or big losers. Now, the one thing we never want to be is big losers when we go over our best bets of the day here. This is Bye, Bye, Bye. Let's get busy. Let's get busy. Where do we go tonight, Joe? NHL action, college basketball action. You head over to the NBA or do you go to the NFL? What is your play for tonight, Joe?
Oh, I am going to go to the NFL, okay, Donnie, and I'm going to go to this Eagles and Green Bay game. And listen, there's a couple of things that we know to be true. Right now, the Green Bay Packers offense without Tucker Kraft is in no man's land. They are not good. They have nobody that can get any separation. Even with Tucker Kraft, by the way, they still start every game in reverse, Donnie. The last 3 games, 7, 6, 7 total points. They have been held under their team total in the first half, Donnie, in 6 of 8 games here. It has not been good. Now you've got a defense coming in that is just coming in rested, has already dominated Jordan Love. We saw this last year, and they know his tendencies. Now he's lost his best weapon. The team total is 10.5 in the first half, Donnie. So what? They're going to get 2 touchdowns, or they're going to get, a touchdown, field goals against it? I'm not buying it. It's not what Green Bay is. They start slow. They finish better. But I am not buying that they are going to come out here and light up this Eagles defense. So I am looking to back the team total in the first half under 10.5 here, Donnie.
Green Bay team total under. That listed here, at least at FanDuel, at around a minus 130 price. So 10.5 points or less. And as an Eagle fan, I would love to see them score no points, Joe, for you in the first half here. But I'm going to go over to the NBA. We're going to have some fun with a public fade tonight. Nobody wants to take the Utah Jazz. They're in elevation tonight, taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Everybody loves them, Joe. 85% of the tickets coming in on the Timberwolves early. That line opened up 7.5. You know what still sits at right now? 7.5. I'm taking the Ugly Ducklings and the Utah Jazz tonight at home to at least put up a fight against the Minnesota Timberwolves. That'll do it for the show today, Joe. Entertaining, exciting, covering all options here, trying to give out winners for the people. And finally, I get to watch my Philadelphia Eagles on Monday Night Football. It's been a minute since the boys were out there.
Yeah, and keep an eye, Donnie, too, on this total with the Miami Heat and Cleveland Cavaliers.
Ooh.
We might actually get our first 250-point total of the season, Donnie. It's listed at 248 right now.
I like it here. We'll see the way it plays out. Also, that eye on college basketball as we move forward. The game, I promise you, people, the games will get better as you head into feast week here in college basketball. But that'll do it for today's show on the early line. For Donnie Rightside and Joe Ranieri and the rest of the crew, we will see you bright and early once again tomorrow morning for another episode.